sort of where we are, it's we're not innocent. And I think we can't just walk through this and say, we are, but what we can do is for the next relationships, we can reflect and try to address it better. So at least if
Mhm.
it ends or it doesn't, we can exit with our head held high. And if it goes forward, because remember, like as GI Joe said, getting into the relationship is half the battle.
Yeah.
Staying in the relationship, like whether it's marriage or
Yeah,
it's like, is the
that's the
rest of
that's
This
the
it.
is the
challenge.
that's the war.
That's the challenge, man.
But even like exiting out of like relationships like lately, like you get like, oh, you get that tsunami after like a few days of no conversation. It's like,
The tsunami of
hey,
text.
yeah, the tsunami attacks. Like, hey,
It's like the wall.
yeah, sorry, I just got this, whatever. I don't like you. Whatever it is, that's pretty much. It should
That's
just say. It
that's
should
the
just say.
residue.
Yeah, it
Residue.
should just say, I don't like you or
You,
whatever.
you know what it is?
But
It's almost like the more polite they're trying to be, the
the
worse it
worse it
feels.
is, like, right? So then, but then, I normally would have been like, yeah, whatever, go fuck yourself. I wouldn't say that, but like in my
You
mind,
you
I'm
you
like,
feel that for sure.
yeah, I'm like, go fuck yourself. But even like recently or whatever, not gonna say recently, but since my transformation,
In
like,
progress. Yeah.
yeah, it's everything, bro. Life is in progress until you die. Like you can revert, you can fall back off the wagon. You know what I mean? At any time.
Like me with my eating habits.
But oh my god, you gotta get those in check. But
Absolutely.
anyways, yeah, like I've been like more polite with like the, like, yeah, take care of yourself, this and that, like, because you could sour that well real fast. Like there's guys that would be like, you know what, fuck you, or like try to like force their way back into the situation. Guys that don't know how to take no as an answer. Like I've heard stories where people are getting attacked because they broke up with someone. Like, bro, just find a new person or get
Yeah.
therapy. Like, clearly you need therapy first before you find a new person.
And
But
and
Yeah.
and
yeah,
the and the great point is like, sometimes what happens to people is sometimes at that stage in their life people weren't ready for each other,
no,
and things come
But
around again. But
but
if you've like
sometimes
if you've destroyed it, well, good luck.
yeah,
sometimes people just don't belong together, man.
that's also true.
You can't force it. If it don't work, it don't work. You can't force someone to be with you.
Yep,
You know,
found out that the hard way as well.
and
I
then
found yeah, I found out that the hard way too. And I think for me, when you're trying to save, like I'm talking specifically now in the dating sense, like post marriage, like when you're trying to save something and you're like, oh, you're trying so hard, you're throwing everything at it, and the other person's like, they're trying to figure out it's going to work, but they're moving on.
Hmm.
It's like a sinking feeling, man, to be on that side of the
listen,
relationship.
losing hurts, but sometimes you have to take the loss in order
You
to
got to
move
eat that
forward,
L,
man.
man. You got to bite the
But
bullet sometimes.
You know,
exactly, and it's like once a woman's changed her mind, bro, or say changed her heart,
that's
it's
it.
it's done.
You ain't taking
But
it back unless she
but
chooses it.
like, well, it's probably won't. But by the time you want to come back, you're just like, yeah, no thanks.
Now
Like,
you're scared to touch it again.
I'm good, thanks.
I
Yeah.
mean, it is kind of interesting because like I have my three kids because I was rejected the first time, but I can acknowledge that I bore a lot of resentment after that first time. And I think one of the things is sometimes like you're like if you get one person, you get one shot at that, and you better show up when you get that shot because even if a person's gonna come back, it can work sometimes, but it's like those feelings of like resentment of like you broke a trust, right?
Yep.
So I know people like for myself who I've come back to is not the same, and vice versa. There's that word again. You
Vice
get it.
versa.
Is that if they came back, like this is why I have like a block delete policy because I don't want to talk to people. I don't want them hanging around my WhatsApp. Like the temptation to talk to them. I want to block and delete you if there's nothing around. I know not everyone feels that way, but I don't want
Nah,
that hey hi 3 months later. Like
but it's happened to you, and you appreciated it when it did. When you took my advice, remember?
yeah, I think I moved on from that, but you're right. I think periodically it does happen, but I think we
But
all
just hold on, it's cut you off. Sorry. Just like you said, sometimes at that time they're not ready. Maybe that person could be ready later on, and then reaching out, but you've blocked and delete them,
it's a great point
and
because
you
like
miss out on all that love.
no, it is true because like
Yeah, you
like
limit
like
yourself
well,
when you
Mm-hmm.
it's so
make that
interesting
decision, man.
because going
Should I
back
tell
to
you
these
about that?
going back to a lot of these apps, I've had experiences where whether it's a Muslim app or not, you'll meet a woman that you met there, and then they will tell you, this is not what I want. They won't block and delete you. I want, and then you'll see them like 6 months, 8 months, a year later on back on the same app or a different app,
Always
right?
see the same people on apps.
Yeah, and so what happens is, this is part of that, that damage that we do. We're all coming off something or someone, right? It could be an ex-husband, an ex-boyfriend, an ex-date, or whatever. And are we willing, whether it's therapy, whether it's a good circle of friends, whether it's medication, are we willing to do the hard work on ourselves to be like, okay, I know I come with some baggage. Let's trade stories. Let's get into each other's lives. And if it's not going to work, politely, as much as feelings are going to be hurt, they are going to be. It's going to feel like shit. But then, do I not need to be nasty when I leave? Like
Hmm.
that's important. And yes, I think issues of being monogamous and like not playing people's hearts. Like, I still believe, and I'd be old school for this. I don't believe you can get to know a woman unless you're giving her your exclusive attention. If your attention is scattered left, right, and center, um, you're never going to give the best amount of time.
It's
And
no
everyone's like,
multitasking. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
like,
true.
right,
I will agree on that.
right. And so if you're
But
talking to someone,
you got to also remember that that person may not be doing the same thing for you.
so
Mm.
I'll tell you a
So then you
fantastic.
could be like, "Hey, let me give you all my time. You all my time," and then you're just like, "Hey, where you at?" And
So
they're
I got
fucking.
chewed out by a Muslim woman who first said it was amazing to talk to me, thought about it for a week, and she's like, "You said that you talk to people exclusively," and she's like, "Who are you to think that I would do the same thing?" And I said, "First of all, I never said that about you. I never asked for reciprocity." But she was feeling guilt because that's how I was pursuing. And I said, "Look, I can't get to know you if I'm going to keep giving my time to other people, and this could
Mm.
take months." And but for a lot of people, especially people at different stages, some people may have just got on an app and they're liking the attention from 5, 6, 7 people. They want to narrow that down.
7.
Some people are basically like, this is their third or fourth go around. Like me, you've deleted and undeleted those apps how many times, right? Like, you're like, I'm done with this. Like, for me, it's like, so I think what it comes down to is, do you want to get the time to know someone and let that person trust you and them to say, I have faults, right? I have faults.
Mm.
I've made mistakes.
Mhm.
But I also am a good person and I can keep working on myself and I'd like to work on things. Or are we just as a society going to be in these cycles into our like 40s and our friggin' 50s, right? As dating dads. And I really look at this, like, especially for a lot of the women out there, like a lot of them, and I've seen this with, like, again, specifically my experience with the brown Muslim women, they despair that they're ever going to find someone. And one of the arguments I got into with one was like, she goes, you know, divorced Muslim women know what they want in seconds. I go, is this why you're possibly still single? And she's like, well, I'm not single. I'm like, well, you are, because like you're talking to me here and you've become so brittle and picky. Are you going to be back here in 6, 7 years? Are you waiting for some Prince Charming that's like never going to show up? Right? Like I'm sorry, because that's how it feels. I'm like, what are you looking for exactly?
But
And I've,
she,
yeah,
no, she, to me, I think she is also limiting herself. So she's closing off herself to an extent by saying that. Oh, I know what I want. What if you really don't know what you want?
But
Right?
it's not all about her though.
That's the thing. But she's already telling you, I know what I want.
It's a
But
very
she
selfish
hasn't she
person.
hasn't given you a chance.
Yeah.
And you could actually be that person to change her way of thinking. You can open up a whole different world for her. But
Yep.
by telling you that she already knows what you want, she's already passing judgment on you, right?
She's pretty much saying, "Hey, bro,
You're
fit
not
it
good enough.
fit into this box or get the
Mhm.
fuck out of here."
Yeah, no, she's basically telling you, you're not good enough for me. I know what I want, and you're not it,
That's
without
it.
even giving you a chance.
and listen, everybody's entitled to that. And again, from my point is, but when it's not just one person, as I say, like, my spidey senses are tingling because
Mhm.
it's this is a societal problem, and it comes from the fact of this fake perception of unlimited choice. My
Mm.
my university professor used to say, it's like the internet has, like, it's wide, but it's not that deep, right? And what happens is there's so much choice out there, but then you get to like the quality of a person, and you're like, there isn't that much quality out there. and you want to say like, look, everyone wants to toot their own horn or whatever, but I feel after 5 or 6 years out in this, like I feel like I've done some of the hard work on myself. So it's like that patience and not giving in to those notions of despair, especially when, like, I think it's like, it's like a when you go for a job interview, it's like the world's most awkward thing. Like sometimes when they're like, "Oh, you're amazing, but you're not our candidate." Like, what the hell, right? And that's what it's like. Oh, politely, it's like, you sound like so amazing, but wish you the best in your. I was like,
You were great, just not for me.
right,
Thanks for coming out.
and I don't know them, and it's like, can you go from like third to first? Can you become a person? Can you become Nadir Shirazi, like Joshua Clark, Quincy Campbell? Can you become a person versus a stereotype or an archetype in their mind? And can they become that to us? Like, for example, if a woman,
It's actually, will they give you the time to show them that you're not the stereotype?
it's great. And for example, if at first, like, it's kind of balanced, right? Because both from an Islamic perspective, you don't want to harass women. From a 21st century perspective,
You should never harass women.
you should never harass women. But like the discourse of men has been this, like, try again. You have to respect a woman's boundaries. But what in those cases where a woman, like, she doesn't say no, but she doesn't say yes? It's kind of like we still are connected online. It's like, but it's like paused for now, right? Like, what,
It's in progress.
Maybe she's feeling out someone else.
Exactly.
And then it's like, you know what? Let me double back to this guy.
Yo, this happens on apps all the time. You get the hello, they're holding, and they'll circle back in like 4 or 5 days. We do it too, but it's very interesting. Like when you're having a conversation, let's say you get off the app and you get into WhatsApp, and then like you're talking, it's going great, and then what happens is silence for 2 or 3 days, right?
You know what? Everybody's guilty of that shit.
Or
We're all guilty.
or the opposite. Or the opposite. You're just like, hey, good morning or whatever, and then it's like 3 o'clock. Hey, what's up? Blah blah blah. And then like 2 days later, then it's like you get a good morning. Hey, good morning. How's it going? How are you doing? What are you about? Tell me about yourself. Da da da. It's like, did you just get dumped?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
did you just get dumped, yo? Or what's going on?
She just finished answering all the other messages on the list. And
Yeah.
Quincy, you've nailed it. And I will say this is specifically more of a woman's problem, because if a woman's on an app, she will be getting more messages than we will be getting.
We should definitely get a woman's perspective on this.
And so
Right.
just for the audience, we will be doing a part 2 of this, and we'll be bringing in a very special person to the group. We'll be bringing in Michelle, who's if you go to brolitfactory.com, she's the 4th member. And
she's our very special person.
She's our very special person. And without her, we couldn't do this. All the great graphics, all the great content. But more than that, there's 3 men here. And sometimes we need a woman's perspective.
Some softness in here, a little more emotion.
And she'll surprise
So with the
you.
Dutchman to shut the fuck up,
But she's not always that soft though. So don't get twisted.
So what we're gonna do is, this is sort of the end of part 1. And for our next podcast, we'll be talking about dating, dating dads, but we'll also be talking and getting a perspective of women. What do women encounter out there on the internet, in this world? What does it feel like? What are things men don't understand? Why are they so guarded? What have we done to contribute to that? So, like I said, this is Nadir. That's my man Josh.
Oh, we're done? Bye.
That's my man Quincy. Signing off this week, the B Unit.
Come on, man. Just stop that shit.
It's not.
Didn't work.
Bro, brothers.
Hey,
bro.
hold on, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. You go check out the YouTube video, check out the Spotify, check out the Twitter, check out the Instagram, BroLitFactory.com, BroLit Factory Inc. Check it all out. Ring
Debating
that bell.
dads.
Debating dads #1. Ring that bell.